All right. So, um, everyone's always looking for an edge in online marketing. And you sent me this stuff about a software called Prestige. And it really caught my eye because they're saying they're using AI for like everything. And specifically, you mentioned you wanted to dig into like the traffic and sales side of things. How can AI actually help you get more eyeballs on your stuff and actually make more sales?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a hot topic. And, this prestige software, they're not shying away from making some pretty big claims.
Not at all. Like right off the bat, they're saying you get access to like 25 plus premium AIs. I mean, they even name drop ChatGPT 4, Gemini Ultra.
Yeah.
Do those names mean anything to you?
Yeah, so those are like the big dogs right now. I mean, they're considered some of the most advanced AI models out there, capable of generating, like human quality text, even code. So for marketers, you can see how this could be pretty game changing. Like think about, writing compelling ad copy or, blog posts or even just like personalized email sequences. And all of that in a fraction of the time it would normally take you.
So instead of like staring at a blank page, you could just have this AI like whip something up for you. I mean, that's kind of mind blowing when you think about it. But Prestige is taking it a step further, right? We're saying that this AI can actually send messages to millions of people on social media with your affiliate links.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting. Because they're basically saying you can bypass email altogether and go directly to people on their phones. Which, let's face it, that's where everyone is these days.
And they're claiming like a 98% open rate. I mean, have you ever heard of open rates like that?
No, I mean, in email marketing, that's unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. And they even say they have like a built-in Meta SMTP server, so you can send all these messages for free.
It's a bold claim for sure. I mean, social media is definitely a powerful way to reach potential customers, but guaranteeing that level of engagement, especially without any effort on your part, it seems a little too good to be true.
Yeah, that's where my skepticism kicks in too. It's like they're promising this magic button that just solves all your marketing problems. And then they double down on that by saying you can create like faceless AI influencers.
Yes, the faceless influencers. So basically you're using AI to create a persona, and then that persona promotes your products or services. Kind of like a virtual spokesperson that, never gets tired, never asks for a raise, can churn out content 24/7. I mean, the concept is interesting, but I do wonder if people would actually connect with a fabricated personality.
That's a good point because, authenticity and trust are so important in marketing these days. Would people feel deceived if they found out they were interacting with an AI? And what about the ethics of using AI to create these personas? It feels a little, I don't know, manipulative.
It's definitely uncharted territory. There are a lot of questions to consider.
And it seems like Prestige isn't too concerned with those questions. I mean, they're too busy showcasing all these testimonials from people claiming to have made, thousands, even millions using their software.
Yeah, those testimonials are pretty impressive. One person even said they made 1,000x their investment back.
But I gotta admit, I'm always a little skeptical of testimonials, especially in marketing materials. It's like they tend to cherry pick the most glowing reviews.
Oh, absolutely. Testimonials can be powerful, but it's important to take them with a grain of salt. What works for one person might not work for another. And there's no guarantee that those results are typical or even achievable for the average user.
Yeah, it's like you're painting this picture of, like online marketing utopia.
Yeah.
Where you just set it and forget it. But I'm guessing the reality is a little bit more complicated.
Oh, definitely. I mean, marketing, even with the help of AI, still takes, strategy and effort. You need to understand your target audience. You've got to craft compelling messages. You got to build genuine relationships. AI can be a powerful tool, but it's not a magic solution.
And let's not forget about the technical side of things. I mean, Prestige makes it sound like anybody can use their software, even with, zero experience. But I imagine there's still a learning curve, especially when you're dealing with, like advanced AI tools like ChatGPT 4 and Gemini Ultra.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a difference between, being able to access a tool and knowing how to actually use it effectively. Even with like a user-friendly interface, you still need to understand the capabilities and the limitations of these AI models, and that just takes time and practice.
And then there's the whole issue of cost. I mean, Prestige is really pushing this limited time offer, this one-time fee to get lifetime access. They even list the total value of over $16,000. So it makes it seem like you're getting, an absolute steal.
Oh yeah, that's a classic marketing tactic, right? And create that sense of urgency and scarcity to get people to buy now. And that inflated total value, it's designed to make you feel like you're getting an incredible deal.
And it makes me wonder, if this software is so revolutionary, why are they offering it for so cheap? It almost seems too good to be true.
Yeah, and that's when my spidey senses start tingling.
Yeah.
There's always a risk with these one-time fee offers. Like, what happens if the company goes out of business or they just stop supporting the software? You could be left with a useless product and no recourse.
That's a good point. And what about the ethical implications of using AI in marketing? I mean, we touched on this earlier with the whole faceless influencer thing, but it feels like there's a bigger conversation to be had here.
Oh, absolutely. As AI gets, more and more sophisticated, we really need to think about how it's being used and the impact it has on consumers. Transparency and authenticity are more important than ever.
So let's say somebody is, seriously considering investing in Prestige. What would you recommend they do before, they pull the trigger?
Well, first I would tell them to look beyond the marketing hype. Don't just rely on the information on their website or in their brochures.
So where would you suggest they go for more objective information?
Independent reviews and user forums are a good place to start. See what real users are saying about the software, both the good and the bad. Look for specific details about their experiences, the results they've achieved, any challenges they faced.
And what about reaching out to Prestige directly? Would that be worthwhile?
Yeah, definitely. Contact their customer support and ask specific questions. How do they handle data privacy? What kind of support do they offer? How do they address, ethical concerns? A reputable company should be transparent and, willing to answer those questions.
That's really good advice. And I think it's important to remember that even with all the advances in AI, online marketing still requires a human touch.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just automate everything and expect to be successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Building relationships, understanding your audience, providing value, those are the core principles of marketing, and those aren't going away anytime soon. AI can enhance those efforts, but it can't replace them.
So for our listeners, we've explored the promises and the potential pitfalls of Prestige, this AI-powered marketing software. And we've really highlighted the importance of doing your own research and, approaching these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. Now, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Prestige? Does it sound like a game changer, or are you sensing some red flags? It's interesting because Prestige is really positioning themselves as like the evolution beyond email, like they're tapping into this always-on phone culture. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah, it's definitely a trend. People's attention has shifted. Marketers need to adapt. So while email is still relevant, it's definitely smart to explore new channels.
So for our listeners, who are understandably wary of every shiny new marketing tool that comes along, what would you say is like the biggest takeaway from all this?
Well, I think the main thing is, don't dismiss new technology outright, but be discerning. Like Prestige, they make some big promises, but it's really important to verify those independently.
Exactly. Don't just take their word for it. Yeah. Dig a little deeper, read reviews, understand the technology involved, and most importantly, consider if this really fits into your overall strategy.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, successful marketing is about connecting with real people. AI can definitely help with that, but it shouldn't replace genuine human interaction.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up our deep dive into Prestige, a powerful reminder that in this world of AI-driven, everything critical thinking is more important than ever. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.